Hello, my name is Alice Black, and I'm delighted to welcome you to the business of being an artist. So this is a series of talk for Art Ultra, and this first series is about presenting yourself online. I've done a cheat sheet with a lot of information that I'm going to go through on this video, so don't forget to check the link in the description to download it. The second talk in the Presenting Yourself Online series is about Instagram. So this talk is aimed at those who are starting on Instagram and want to get a few tips about managing their Instagram account. But before we start, don't forget to sign up on the Art Ultra website, where there's a lot of information for artists. We give a roundup of opportunities for grants, for commissions, for exhibitions, and this is available to you for free. In this series, I'm talking to Rioco Green, who's a PR specialist from the Design Museum. What great tips have you got for us, Rioco? What are the do's and don'ts on Instagram?
Yeah, I think there's a whole range of things you could do on Instagram, I think, that kind of give you a leg up, that help you kind of to maneuver through the social world, making sure that you're utilizing the whole platform. You know, your content will get served to a larger amount of people, you know, take advantage of the features. So when I say that, I think when you look at Instagram, you have Instagram Reels, you have IGTV, you're able to post on the feed, you have stories, there's highlights, and there's new features that you can have inside your stories. So things like polls and, you know, questions. I think there's all sorts, there's music possibilities. So I would say in terms of starting your Instagram, first step would be to create yourself a business profile. So switch your account from a normal profile to a business profile. By doing this, you have access to the professional dashboard, which is a great tool for analytics. It helps you identify the best times to post. It helps you to say, you know, which content is working best. It's a free tool that comes with Instagram. It's available when you have a business profile. So it's a super easy switch. It doesn't take long at all.
You don't have to have a business that is registered as a business. It's just literally the flick of a switch that changes your account from personal to business. And this is really a must do in managing your profile.
So the next biggest thing, I think, on Instagram is how to kind of utilize the platform, get the most out of it. So I think one of the biggest ways to grow your profile is to utilize all the features, like I mentioned earlier, and to also think about, you know, really using Reels. I think at the moment, short form video is a huge way to kind of really extend your reach. You know, there's popular hashtags. You can think about including some of those. And I would say by rule of thumb, you know, vary your content. So post on the feed, in your pictures, use a couple of Reels, and also do an IGTV. Now, I think you don't have to worry about doing these every day. It can be considered, you know, there could be one Reel a week, there could be 2 Reels a week, there could be one IGTV a month, which is a slightly longer form piece of content. So I guess that kind of leads me on to the biggest part of Instagram, which is, you know, it's a visual platform. So, you know, frequency and a style or a theme is one of the most important things on Instagram. So thinking about, you know, posting regularly, and also thinking, you know, does everything fit with how you'd like to present yourself? You know, is there a certain theme that you're going to go with for your profile? I think being such visual content, you know, you've got to have some sort of way of defining it to you. Are you able to use an app, a filter, a border, or a certain style when you post that's going to uniform your feed? That, when people log on, I think will make people kind of see you and make it feel like a slightly more professional outfit, I think, from the start. And then, yeah, the other thing is frequency. And I think there's lots of options, things like content calendars and apps that we can delve into slightly later. But those kind of things help with the frequency. So, yeah.
I think The other things to consider are there's two things: captions and hashtags. So the captions is the little bit of text that you're going to add below your post to tell people what is in your post. And really, don't be shy. You can put a lot of text actually in a caption and people want to know more. Research has it that the ideal caption length is either 500 to 1,000 characters or between 1,000 and 2,000 characters. So you can type up your caption in your notes and look at the number of characters, and then you copy it and put it under your post as you're creating your Instagram post. But really, do think about including a caption and about including details about your post. And the next thing is obviously hashtags. So Rioco hashtags. What's this? How many? Do we need to bother about it all that much? What does it do?
So I think there's so much chat about hashtags, but I definitely think it's a great way to reach more people. I think there's clever ways to use hashtags. I think there's also do's and don'ts with hashtags. I think, as you were saying, it's a combination of really nailing your caption and then using hashtags to support that or take the topic further. So I think a really good way to start is come up with a set of hashtags that you have for your industry or what you're in. So for example, if you're posting about, recently we had an electronic exhibition at the Design Museum, we kind of thought, what are the most popular hashtags? I would say around about 20 hashtags that have quite, dedicated communities that might be interested in seeing this content. And as you mentioned, making a note of that separately along with your caption, and that can be called your hashtag set. And what you could do is you could use that hashtag set across all of your content. You can see how it performs. Inside Instagram, you can see there's an analytics tag, which basically shows you how much reach you've gained from your hashtags. But before doing that, I think an important thing to remember is I would always say to have a couple of hashtags in the caption, and I wouldn't say a large amount of hashtags. So maybe pick 3 or 4 hashtags that relate directly to you. So do you want a hashtag which is, the name of your brand, the name of yourself, so that you can start establishing a community for what you're doing. So an example of this could be at the Design Museum, we'll have a hashtag for each exhibition, and that hashtag we'll start using ahead of the exhibition, and we'll start populating it to make sure that people click on it, they kind of get an idea for who that person is and what their work might be. It could be, London artist, it could be, the name of your brand, and I would have a few of those inside the end of your caption, but keep it very short. And then I would say comment on your post rather than in the caption with your additional hashtag set. It's a case of monitoring those hashtags, looking at which ones have, a huge audience. I would say in general, it's worth using hashtags that have an audience of, I would say between 100,000 and say 2 or 3 million. You're going to get a much more engaged community. I think if you've got a hashtag that's very, very popular, your content is unlikely to get found within that hashtag. So you kind of need to use it to your advantage of how can I get on the discovery page? What hashtags have I got a chance of being featured in? And also, taking advantage of slightly smaller communities that use hashtags, because they might be more engaged than these huge ones where people are pumping out the content every day.
Definitely. And I would say, as you type in your hashtag, when you create your post, Instagram will show you the number of followers of that hashtag. So if it's a very popular one, it's got like 10 million followers, and as Rioco says, maybe it's not much, it's not worth it because no one's gonna find you. Or if it's got fewer than say 1,000 posts, then it doesn't look like it's being very active. But you can see and you can then tailor it. Now, when I look at Instagram, Ryoko, I see some people with fantastic pictures, great style, and great light. And then I realized that actually there are lots of apps that help you improve your natural photographic ability or your ability on Reel or on IGTV. Can you give us a quick roundup of what those useful apps are? And remember, in the cheat sheet, we're going to signpost all of these apps. And also, as you do give us this little roundup, let us know which ones are paying, which ones are free, and because there's some costs attached to that too.
Yeah, I think getting help from apps is a great way to kind of have consistent content, to give your content a theme, but like you said, to also help with that organization and that visual side of it. When sometimes you see people's feeds, you're like, how have they created this and how do they stay on top of it? So yeah, it's a mixture of community management, which looks after you being able to post frequently, but also the visual side. So it kind of helps bring all of that content together and creates that style for you. So some of my favorite ones, which I've used, and I'll run through, they're all different, but I'll start with one that's actually free to download, and it is Lightroom. So Lightroom itself is an Adobe app. You can get it on your phone for a mobile version. You can also get it on your desktop. I would say if you're on the go and on social media, just get it on your phone. It's free, it's easy to use. So inside that app, you can basically download or create presets. So the idea of a preset is that it will pull out the same colors in every single photo, or it will help create that unified look. So almost like having a filter for your profile. It tends to be much better, and you can fine tune the image slightly more. It's very easy to use. There's lots of demos about it. You can purchase presets if you really like the style. These can be anything from about £10 to £30. You then get lifetime use of them, or you can learn how to create one yourself, and there's really easy guides online. So my go-to is Lightroom for kind of getting that feed to look consistent. I would also say some very simple things before kind of getting the app is always take your photos in great light. Always make sure you've got the highest res possible. So some other ones which are really great is Canva. Again, there's a free version of Canva, but there's also a paid version. It's not overly expensive, but you can actually get away with using the free version as well. This is great for creating story templates. So if you're wanting to have highlights created with really nice icons on them, or you're wanting to create a really formatted story, you can download a story template, which you could edit yourself. You can edit inside the app, and you can just keep kind of updating it or changing it. And this kind of gives your profile a certain look, a style, and yeah, it's got loads of tools on there. There's free images, and there's kind of the advanced side where you have to pay. I think the subscription to it isn't massive, but I think you can get away with using the free side of it to get started with. It's definitely a good place to have a play around with it. Another good one which I use for some of my private clients is Later. So this is a paid platform, and I would say it's per monthly. It's about £11 a month, I would say, depending on the size of your profile and how many followers you have and what you wanted to do. This is a great for scheduling your content. So for me, I use this to look after the whole month on social media, and you can attach all your various platforms. You can sit there and have one afternoon of thinking, what is my content going to look like? Here are all of my photos. You can schedule it, create your captions, and it's got an amazing kind of analytics on it that help define your best performing hashtags for you. So I would say if your time is an issue for you and waking up and posting every day is quite difficult, just dedicate half a day towards it, and use something like Later to help schedule. There is various forms of Later. So some other ones are Post Planner, and I think there's one which is as well, which is really great, but that also comes with filters and templates, a little bit like Canva. They're all around about the same price point. One that I use myself, just for my own personal profile, which is generally a lot cheaper, is one called Plan. So Plan is very similar. It enables you to plan all of your content across your channels, but it's about £3 a month. And you can have it on your phone as well as on the desktop. So yeah, that's a great place to start. They're all very similar. There's lots out there. It's kind of how professional or how big you need it to be to start with, and also to get used to what platform works best for you. So I guess the last two that I kind of want to talk about are for creating video and helping kind of format video together. So as well as the Reels format inside things like Instagram, there is also great apps such as Mojo and Film. Now these apps help you kind of create moving content, I would say, for stories. It could be for your feed. It templates it. The apps themselves are paid for, but very, very low cost apps. So I would say there's a certain amount of free stuff you can get on there. And then obviously there's the paywall for further content. But it's a couple of pounds. And again, it will help format all of your content. So I don't think there's the need to use all of them. It's about having a look at each of them, doing the demos, having a look at what works for you. But I would definitely say that it helps bring all of your content together if you have a useful app to help.
Building a profile is a long game. Rome wasn't built in a day. You don't need to do it all. You don't need to do all the apps at the beginning immediately. Just do one thing at a time. Start posting and then do a story and then give a try to a reel and then start using one of these apps. You've got time. You will build your profile over months and years. So give it a go. I think the most important advice is just try something new and see how you get on with it. Thank you very much, Rioco. That was super interesting. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Art Ultra channel and join us for the next video.